DraftKings.com. I'm Dave Lockren, that fine fella right there. Josh Engelman filling in for Adam Shar today, making his way out to the DraftKings live final. Good luck to our friend Adam. But we've got 6 games to talk about, so no time to get into anything else here, Josh. And I say that because here's the good thing. If there was ever a time where you and I had to do the morning show together and the deep dive, the strategy show and the deep dive, and not be worried about massive overlap, this is the night. Am I wrong though?
No,
because
everything's different.
Because when we spoke this morning, there was no word of KD being out. I said, yeah, maybe Iggy sits. He is sitting, by the way, but I didn't think KD would sit.
No.
We didn't know Tyreke Evans doesn't matter, but he's out. We didn't know Paul George would be out. That's a minor difference. We didn't know Raul Neto would be out. We talked about him for 30 minutes.
I told y'all he wasn't starting. No one listens to me.
I would laugh so hard if Royce O'Neal doesn't start now. That would be the greatest thing ever.
It could be Grayson Allen. Who knows?
Did they bring him back up?
Yeah, they recalled him yesterday.
Oh, so I was right. By happenstance.
Yeah, they recalled him yesterday. So I assume they knew that they were going to need him yesterday.
You would think so. But yeah, a lot has changed. Not minor changes. These are big time moves in these games. And you know, one way you can always tell from that, Josh, is you just look at the spread. You know, OKC went from 7.5 to 4, 8 in some spots to 4. Right? Paul George moved that line 3.5 to 4 points.
Yeah.
Golden State, 4-point favorites against Orlando on the road. That's also a testament to how well the Magic have been playing. A lot of big movement here. So let's just dive right into it, man. We've got 6 games and about an hour to talk about it. Are you on the Live Before Lock show as well?
I am. You cannot get enough of me today. I'm batting. Leading off, hitting in the 2-hole, and then I'm coming up in the 3-hole, and then Bryce Harper could hit after me.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We got the Bryce Harper. Oh, man.
13-year deal can't go wrong, right?
Well, is that actually going to be? Here's the thing.
No
right?
opt-out.
Because I knew you would have some snarky shit to say.
Oh, of course. It's the Phillies, man.
Right. But here's the thing, and this is just facts. Nolan Arenado signed an extension with Colorado. So next year, he's not on the table. Mookie Betts is coming up, sure. And then you've got like Mike Trout in 2021, but the Angels have already talked about they're not letting them go. Maybe they will, who knows? But when you actually have an opportunity to land a marquee free agent, you have to go all in. And I'll be the first person to tell you, I would have liked to, guys like Arenado, Betts, Trout, I like them all more than Harper, obviously. But when it comes to like Harper or Machado, either one will do. And I think they just needed to make the move now. So dude, I'll be 44 by the time his contract's up. There will be 3 full presidential terms, not including Trump's current term, by the time it is up. So that's pretty wild.
Yeah. Look, how bad could it go? It's not like they've given anybody really long contracts before and they were terrible deals.
Do you know how long that you're referring to Ryan Howard, right?
That would be correct.
Do you know how long his contract was?
The extension?
Yeah.
4 years, 100 million, something like that.
I think it was 5 for 125.
Yeah, same contract, just worse.
Right. But you also realize that they didn't anticipate him tearing or it might have been 100 it was a lot. They didn't anticipate him tearing his Achilles either, so just saying.
I just love shitting on the Phillies. It's the most. I get more out of shitting on the Phillies than I do for anything else.
What did Machado get?
I have no idea.
Me neither. Just curious. I mean,
10 years with an opt-out and 300.
10 year, 10 year, 300 million.
Yeah.
So, hey, look, we got him. We'll see how it goes. What's the worst that can happen? The Phillies have been shit for the past 5-6 years anyway, so they just stay bad. It's a win-win.
Bums me out because I like Bryce Harper.
Well, now you can root for the Phillies. Good stuff. All right, let's get in. You probably don't even root for a team. You just root against the Phillies.
Now, more so, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, I was a Braves fan, so I naturally rooted against the Phillies for more than one reason. It didn't just happen to be my Northeast.
Who do people in Carolina root for?
The Braves for the most part. Braves
It is
Braves or
Braves.
Orioles.
Okay. I think
Braves were
Orioles.
always just on TV. Like that was the team that would have been
I
available.
figured it would be the Braves. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Well, let's jump into it now.
Let's do
We've
it.
taken up enough time on other sports. We've got the Indiana Pacers, Minnesota Timberwolves. By the way, happy to have you all with us. Buckle up. It's going to be a wild show. Hopefully, I was going to say hopefully more news doesn't roll in, but at this point, I'm cool with it. Bring the heat, baby. Bring the heat.
I love it. Yeah, when CP3 gets ruled out or Harden somehow gets ruled out, I'm in for it all now. Just blow it all up.
Would not be surprised to see CP3 out, or like minutes will be limited to 15. Something stupid.
No, just minutes will be limited, Giannis style, like last night.
Oh yeah, that was minutes will be monitored. That's what made it even worse.
If he plays, that was the wording, right? Minutes will be monitored if he starts.
If he plays, yes. If he plays.
Give me some of that nonsense.
What a nightmare. All right. So we've got the Pacers 3-point favorites at home, 220.5 total. We should also point out, and then I promise I'll get into these games. Josh, we talked about it today, but Golden State, Minnesota, Indiana, who else? Miami and Houston and Utah. I think all of them are on back-to-backs. I think 7 of 12 teams are on back-to-backs. So keep that in mind as you're doing your research. If it's a tiebreaker for you, then so be it. Indiana 3-point favorites, 220.5 total. Josh, where do you stand on the Pacers right now? No Domantas Sabonis, no Tyreke Evans.
Yeah, this one is essentially still in the same spot as it was earlier today. I think that Miles Turner still looks obviously good at 6K on DraftKings. I don't mind getting to Thad Young or Collison or Bojan. I think the Corey Joseph is mildly in play now that Tyreke is out. If you're looking for a guy that you don't want to spend any money on, he's still Corey Joseph, so be aware of that. But otherwise, not much has changed from a Pacers perspective.
Yeah, I don't see much changing either. Like we said, Kyle O'Quinn played, 10 minutes last night?
Yeah.
That doesn't do much for me. I still have Miles Turner as a perfectly reasonable play. But aside from that, you're just really what it comes down to is you're just looking for one or two guys on this team that will put you in a decent spot. I don't love this is the truth. Maybe it's wrong, and if you can, I'm happy to have some pushback here, but I just have never been big this season, even with Oladipo out, on playing like multiple Pacers. I'm not saying you can't play two, right? Like Oladipo Sabonis and O'Quinn, those couple days, that was obvious, right? Of course you're playing two. I don't have an issue with it, but getting more than that, even when they're in a good spot, it's difficult. And the reason I say that, so they can still have good games, but for tournament winning spots, they spread the ball out so much that it's like Collison has 30 fantasy points, Turner has 32, Thad has 29, Bojan has 28, and they're all, okay, depending on their price points. But when you start getting them up over 6K, it's a lot harder to justify that.
No, I'm with you. 2 is probably the most that I can get in a lineup at least on DraftKings, and that basically because of Miles Turner's ridiculous price. Like you can easily land on $5,400 Bojan, and I got it right that time, I think. And 6K Miles Turner. Like they're just not that expensive, so it's not hard to get there. But to do like a Bojan or like a Collison Bojan Turner, that's just a lot of Pacers on a day where you don't really need to have that. Like if you're going to go for 3 guys on a team, look closer to Philly or OKC or Denver, some of these teams with bigger totals.
I was watching a show the other month, I forget why, and the person, the quote-unquote analyst expert, was like, yeah, I like the one Bogdanovich, but I'll take the other Bogdanovich. Let's just go with Kings Bogdanovich. And basically, I don't know if he forgot which one was which or couldn't pronounce them, but he was just calling him Kings and Pacers Bogdanovich. I mean, it's really ludicrous, but maybe that's just a better way to go about it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, one of the other one, like, when one of them has the same name as their last name, like, it's not like it's really hard to keep track of this. You just have to remember Bojan. If you can't remember Bogdanovich, like, the other guy's Bogdan. This one's not difficult.
Right. That would
like
be
it's
like my
Jerry.
name being. That'd be me, like me being Loughren is my name. Loughran or Engelman.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm not going to struggle to remember who's who.
Right. Engelman. Not bad. You should name your son, your firstborn, Engel.
We got a better chance of naming the next dog.
Oh, no kids, huh?
Not anytime soon. At least not on purpose.
Aren't you 40 already, though?
No. Not even close.
I know.
I just turned 34.
I know. Strafford's like 48 or something, I think.
How am I going to take care of a child? I have to update projections at 11 o'clock so I don't get yelled at.
Emac's well into his 60s, right?
He's going to hear that.
I know he's watching, so I figured I'd hit him with that.
We're off to a great start. 12 minutes in through one team.
We'll be all right. We love you, old pal. All right. Outside of Indiana, which I think we've pretty much covered, because I pretty much share the same opinion on those guys as you do, but it's important that I don't have many of them in each lineup, especially tonight now that we've got a whole lot opening up, Josh.
Yep.
With Minnesota, this is, I don't want to say big, but it kind of is. Like, I'm still waiting on this Teague news because it influences Cat's value quite a bit.
It really does. You have to think we get the news, though, at least in the next hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah,
it's
the earliest
Thank
game,
God
right.
This game is early.
Right, for sure.
And if Teague is out, man, that makes for a really interesting discussion now that Russell Westbrook is, the guy today.
Isn't it funny how we talked about, Harden's the guy if Paul is out. We never thought, obviously, that George would be out, but the big thing is, well, we'll get there, but hasn't Paul George played every game this year?
I can't picture him missing, but if he did, it's, once, twice.
Right. So I'm saying we haven't had he missed one game.
Yeah.
I guess he did. I don't remember that. I wonder if Westbrook played. I'm sure he did. Yeah, he did. And he had 40 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 assists. I'll take it.
Decent.
Anyway, where are you at on Minnesota outside of Towns? Because as I've stated, if Teague's out, I really, really like Towns here.
Yep.
And I would still expect ownership to be lower than a lot of these other 10K plus guys. If Teague's in, I don't mind him, but it's much harder for me to prioritize him. And regardless, he's going to be behind Westbrook no matter what. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I'll still have Towns more than the public. That's just where I'm at right now. I'm a Towns guy. Little bit of Wiggins seems fine. I do have Teague in. That's what's on the screen right now. So if people are curious based on my projections and stuff, I do have Teague in. I'll probably have a share or two of Teague, but there's not a lot on Minnesota. They're not, with Teague in, they are not very desirable. It's pretty much just Towns.
Yep. Although if Teague is out, because stranger things have happened, especially with him, Tyus Jones, even with quite a bit opening up, Tyus Jones is still a solid play.
The way this is going right now, I feel like Towns will get ruled out.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But
can I circle back to something quick? You don't have the video playing on YouTube, do you?
What video? No, our video?
Yeah.
No, not right now. When I'm producing, I do.
I have a coaster of the 2008 Phillies World Series championship of Brad Lidge on his knees with his hands up to the air.
with Carlos Ruiz running out to the mound.
It's not on the coaster, but I just looked to my right and saw it. My college roommate sent it to me when he saw it just to spite me because I hated that
it's beautiful.
particular game. Yeah, so
beautiful. I'll never forget it. What a year. Brad Lidge didn't blow a single save that year, and then he just sucked a fat one for a long time following that.
Yeah, people realized that you couldn't throw that slider anywhere near the strike zone.
Yep, pretty much. But we'll move on here. I actually do think Corey Joseph, with Tyreke Evans out, he's really not a terrible play, but he's just Corey Joseph. Like, if you get 30 minutes from him, he can be fine.
Yeah.
The truth, but you're hoping for like 25 fantasy points. Honestly, that's what you're hoping for.
I actually used him last night on FanDuel as my punt.
There you go. What do you have, like 24, 23?
Somewhere in that neighborhood. Didn't really matter. I had to use it. Thanks, Karis LeVert.
Oh, God. Do you know how Twitter, if you're on the app, you go to the Twitter app and then you go to like search and it'll have the and it'll have like the headlines.
Yes.
Right. So like the one right now, okay, great. It didn't update yet. NBA last night. Here's the headline: NBA player scores 0 points on his bobblehead night. That is the Twitter headline.
What
Is
an
that
asshole.
amazing or what?
Yeah, I had him in the $100 single entry.
Oh man. Yeah, I had him in a couple of my 88 lineups on DraftKings, and like at halftime, I'm like, okay, I'm done. Call it a night. At least for those lineups. But I had a decent amount. It was really horrible. What a pathetic performance that was. 0 points. All right, you want to move on then?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. We'll keep you abreast of any news as it rolls in, as we do on the deeper dive. Orlando, Golden State. The Magic, mentioned this earlier in the show, but the Magic are only 4-point dogs at home. I definitely expect this game to be competitive. Miami beats Golden State at the buzzer last night, despite some smothering last-second defense by the Warriors. It didn't matter because Dwayne Wade somehow did that. But
magic braids, man.
Yeah, God, the braids. I know. I who would have thought? But let's start with Orlando here because I don't think there's as much.
Okay. Yeah. No. I'm not all that interested in Vooch. I'm not all that interested in Aaron Gordon. Like if I were in a 20 max, I'd probably have each of them once. John Isaac is pretty popular on FanDuel. It's not a place that I'm going. I really just don't have much exposure to the Magic at all. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're really poorly priced on DraftKings compared to FanDuel.
Yeah. Like Aaron Gordon is 6,400. I get it. Like I understand it.
Yeah.
But
he's right where he should be.
Right. I'm not excited about it, especially when like at power forward, you have Kevin Love for a few $100s more. That's kind of the thing. There's a lot of players, even on DraftKings, where they're in the same tier. They're so much more appealing. And yeah, Kevin Love's expected to be higher owned, but not by a wild margin, by like 8% or something. It's not that crazy on a 6-game slate at all. I think I mentioned this earlier today. DJ Augustine, I don't think is crazy. You know, if Teague ends up playing, you do need some value. The game's got a pretty decent 225 total. I expect it to stay very close. You get 30 minutes from DJ Augustine here. I think you could do a whole lot worse, but that's pretty much what it comes down to. I'm not going to Terrence Ross here. Not going to Fournier. Vooch is tough because he's really, really good, Josh.
Yeah.
And he's on DraftKings $9,300. So he's not in that same tier as all of these other expensive players. You know, on FanDuel, he's 10-4, Jokic 11-1, Towns 11-2. So he's cheaper there as well, but $1,200 less expensive than Towns on DraftKings. The thing is, Jokic is only at $10,000, which means that you've got him right in the middle of both of them. Makes it a bit harder to get to Vooch. I think I probably have a little bit more interest in Vooch than you do, but again, we talked about Gobert earlier too. Like a little harder to get to these guys on a night like this.
Yeah, I like too many other guys more. That's really all there is to it.
How many quality punts do you think there are right now?
A lot. If we're on DK, Bam, how punty is punt?
Like 4K or less.
Okay.
Quality ones, not just like he's all right.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, Bam clearly.
Well,
I don't. I mean, 4K or less. One.
Yeah, there's not
but
that many.
You know, PJ Tucker, Mike Scott, Corey Joseph, Terrence Ferguson. Like there are guys out there that are going to get a lot of minutes today at lower salaries. They're not particularly sexy. Nobody's like, oh, can't wait to get PJ Tucker and Corey Joseph into the lineup today.
Right.
Bam is the crown jewel of all of that. But there are enough guys out there that are essentially guaranteed 25 plus minutes at sub 4K prices that it's more value than we normally have on a slate. And it seems like a lot for a 6-gamer.
Right. I agree. I just ran a quick 50 lineups and capped everyone at 60%. I still have plenty of adjustments to make, but wanted to get an idea, and I got 0% Vooch.
There you go.
And the reason is not that he's not in a good spot, not that Vooch can't put up numbers. He can score against anybody, but more so, you have guys like Bam, you have Steven Adams with no George, you have Kevin Love, Miles Turner, Jokic, Capella at a discount on DraftKings. There's just so many alternatives.
Yep. Yeah, and that's another thing. It's not necessarily the guys that you got to go all the way down for. I think Bam fills that void. There's just so much in the 4 to 6 range. Like, I didn't mention Dennis Schroeder or Steven Adams, Kelly Olynyk, Jeremy Grant, Chetty. Like, these are just guys that you can easily fill in that have below average salary points.
Yep, for sure. Golden State, no KD. Cousins is back after a day of rest. God, I hate where it says Cousins will be available for Thursday's game. So just say he's going to play.
Yeah, I don't like the new terminology we use.
Me neither, not one bit. So KD is out.
Yes, he is.
And Andre Iguodala is also out, Josh.
Yes, he is.
How are we going to do it?
I'm going to play quite a bit of DeMarcus Cousins. That's where I'll start. I'm going to play a decent amount of Klay Thompson, which is something that no one ever hears me say. I will have some Draymond Green, and on DraftKings, I probably won't have that much Steph Curry.
No KD is a big deal, though. I mean, this...
Is it?
Oh, yeah. What do you mean, is it?
Well, I mean, big deal. Do you mean to Curry? Or do you just mean in general?
I mean, you're taking...
Because I answered in terms of Curry, so...
You're taking a 30% usage guy out of the lineup.
Yes.
30% usage is a lot.
Yes.
Right? I mean,
that I don't disagree. Yes.
It's 30%. That's just on the season. So I don't know. I forget the exact number with Cousins on. But still, like that's a lot. And I don't disagree that, like, yeah, it's going to help Klay. It's going to help Cousins, but I don't see why it wouldn't help Curry as well. Let's see where I ended on Curry here.
Yeah, I don't
have much at all.
I was answering to Curry when I ran Wowie with Durant off. I left Iguodala on because just to get a bigger sample because his minutes are really not the impact. Curry seems to still be deferring to DeMarcus Cousins, and to a bigger extent, Klay Thompson has like a 27% usage rate with Durant off the floor in this scenario. So it's not that I don't like Curry. I think that the impact has not been as big for Curry as I would have expected. It's huge for Klay. Assist rate up, rebounding rate up, usage rate up. I don't ever talk about Klay Thompson, and today is a day where I am.
Like, I get it.
That's crazy to me. I was surprised that happened.
Look, I don't think it's the wrong call. One thing I want to look at is, pull it up from the 18th of January to now.
I hate that I know that date off the top of my head now too.
Yeah. Yep. I know. Like, it's in your head. Klay Thompson with Durant off. I'm not putting Curry or Cousins on. I'm just doing it since the 18th.
That's all I did, yeah.
Right, because they will play some minutes without each other, so I'd like to not skew it. Cousins has a 34% usage rate.
Yeah.
Klay's at 27%. Curry's at 27%, so still up significantly from when he's on the floor with Cousins over that span, but 27%.
By the way, I have him in for 30 today, just in case.
30% usage?
Yes.
Okay. Makes sense.
Still not getting him.
Yeah, no, I hear you. 18%. Now, mind you, these are not a lot of minutes. Like, Curry has not played a lot of minutes at all without Durant over this span. Like, nothing. 38.
Yeah. Crazy low.
Right. Klay has played 140, though, and he's been good. It makes a difference, no question. Cousins 1.48. I think, yeah, the huge difference there is for Boogie. If Boogie plays 30 minutes tonight, man.
Yeah.
That's Yeah. Yeah, that'll make things interesting for sure. But, again, like, how much do you think Cousins are gonna have? We already talked about all those good centers. Where does he fall into this for you?
I'm gonna run a crunch right now, but his ownership cap will be 32% when I run it. I assume that I'll be somewhere in that neighborhood. So more than double the field.
Okay. That makes sense. All right. I guess we can move on. Is there anything else from Golden State that you want to touch on before we do?
No, not really. If you want to punt with Alfonso McKinney on FanDuel, feel free. I figure he's probably the biggest benefactor of this out of the non-big four, but that's probably getting cuter than you need to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Iguodala's also out, so that's kind of weird. Makes it a little bit different here. I don't know. And they're not going to be playing close to the basket because you still have Cousins, you still have Dre. That's like a no man's land type of position on the Warriors. Like, you're wedged in between Curry, Klay, and then Dre and Cousins, and basically you're just running up and down the court hoping you don't do something stupid.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I'll pass on that. Also funny that Alfonso McKinney now has shooting guard eligibility when he had power forward eligibility in October and November.
Some of these people at DraftKings are just making shit up.
That's ridiculous. Let's talk about the Knicks and the Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers are road dogs. Knicks 3-point favorites, man. They're coming up in this world. 219 total. You know how many games they've won straight?
1?
Yeah, try 4.
Wait, really?
No, I'm wrong. They've won 3 of their last 4 games.
Okay, they've won 2 straight.
2 straight and 3 of their last 4. Dude, they lost like 18, a franchise worst 18 or so straight games, and then won 3 of their last 4.
Break up the Knicks.
Man, they are coming onto the scene. I really don't even want to talk about the Knicks all that long. I don't think we need to. We will discuss it because that's what we're here to do, and we're try to give you as much information as we can. But just to put it kind of simply for you, at least to know where I'm at, Josh, everything's opening up. So I don't need to roster a Dotson or a Trier or Kevin Knox. I don't really even need to mess with Moutier or Dennis Smith. Do you need to risk Henry Ellenson? You don't. I got one Henry Ellenson lineup where I ran 50. If I ran 150 and came up with 3 or 4 Ellenson lineups, I wouldn't take him out. Put it that way.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. And then Mitchell Robinson, I'm still not getting a ton of because his prices come up. And once again, the center position has so much depth. I will be capping these guys more and setting exposures differently. But with that said, I still wouldn't expect myself to get more than maybe like 15% Mitchell Robinson. I do like him, though. It's just he's not nearly as a sure thing for minutes as a lot of these other. Like Adams, we know is going to play 35 minutes unless this blows out.
Yeah. Here's my summary of the Knicks. I ran a crunch of 200 lineups on DraftKings. I only got 5 Knicks to even appear. Dennis Smith, Knox, Moutier, Trier, Ellenson. Ellenson showed up in 3 of those 200. Hold on. Sorry, that's incorrect. Ellenson showed up in 6% of those crunches. No one is higher than that 6% number.
And he came up, you said, in 6%?
6% is the highest I got of any single Knick. And that's where I want to be. Someone on the Knicks is probably going to pop off and be good. I think that they are really only able to be rostered maybe one at a time in a 20 max, or if you're playing 150. I can't imagine going to a Knick in other scenarios. There's too much ambiguity.
No, look, I think you're right. And I just ran, I figured I'd do the same thing with different, we're looking at different stuff here, just to see what I come up with. And mind you, I just set everyone to 60%. So like Bam's going to be high. I'm going to have more than 60% Bam. Pretty sure of that.
I'm going to have 100.
I'm going to have more than 60% Russell Westbrook. I know that.
So am I.
You say what?
So am I.
Yeah. So keep that in mind. But this just gives me an idea of what we're looking at here. Now, in terms of how many Knicks popped up, because I think it's a good exercise that you did there. 2% Emmanuel Mudiay at point guard, nothing at shooting guard, nothing at small forward. 6% Henry Ellenson. Would you look at that?
Yeah, see, great minds.
And one Mitchell Robinson lineup of 200.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
and I couldn't be happier.
Yesterday we had somebody say, right? We had somebody say like, man, this channel I'm really distancing myself. And I'm not even ripping on you, but it's a pretty good point to make. Like, man, really, really distancing myself. They just glossed over Andre Drummond. And the point we had made on Drummond and Blake Griffin was, well, you're just going to have a very tough time prioritizing those guys. We both ran a bunch of lineups, and it did not come up with a lot of Andre Drummond. Now, Andre Drummond had what, like 43, whatever. That's besides the point. Now, if you didn't play Andre Drummond, you're probably in a pretty good spot. But that's not the point. It's simply we could talk about Mitchell Robinson all day long, but you have to be practical in making lineups. And does it work? Does it make the most sense? It's not, do you like him on an island? Do you like him in a vacuum? But it's, do you like him compared to the rest of these players? And when actually building your lineups, does it work better than this guy, and this guy?
Yeah. Look, we're damned if we do and damned if we don't. We're either told that we recommend everybody because we play MME, or I say, you know what, I don't really like Steph Curry tonight. I'm probably not going to have a lot. And it's, you're a moron. How could you not like Curry? It's like, well, I can't like everybody, but apparently I also can like everybody.
Right. No, look, I'm with you. And I actually think, I don't know, I've always tried to pride myself on not rattling off every name because I don't think it's even remotely helpful. I think what it does do, though, and honestly, for the most part, the large majority of our viewers are pretty sharp people. I view the comments. We have our subscribers. Yeah, I like the very, very large majority, and even the ones that don't like us. I don't not like you,
right,
like Josh was saying today. But I think there is like a confirmation bias in the sense of like if you have a tout that you ask him about this player and you like him, and he's like, oh yeah, that could be good. He's fine. Then it confirms your original thought about him, right? That now this guy likes him too.
Yep.
And then if you end up being right, it's like, oh, nice, I was right, and he helped me with that. And if you're wrong, well, you have no one to blame but yourself because you were so high on him to begin with. So that's kind of the trick that you could use when you're doing analysis for any game, is just kind of be like, oh yeah, seems like a fine tournament play to me. Because when they're asking you about that person that they already actually have interest in them.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
100%. 100%.
Maybe I'm off base, but I've been doing this long enough to see that's done a lot, and it works. It works for some people. All right, Cleveland, Kevin Love, $6,900 on DraftKings. Played 28 minutes last game, 75 on FanDuel. If he gets up to 30 minutes against the Knicks, even 29 minutes, you should be able to get some pretty solid production from old K Love.
Yeah, I think that I'm going to end up under the field. He's at 19% on DraftKings right now. I just took a look at my top 60 lineup, so I haven't began to like sift through anything that I've done yet.
I got a lot of them.
So I got him in... Well, let me... Where'd I lose him? Okay, so I got him in 11%, which would be under the field. But when I started to pare that down to what I'll be using, I only got him in 2 of 60 lineups, so just 3%. So it doesn't look like I'm going to end up having too much Kevin Love, and I'll almost assuredly be under the field. But on paper, just like thinking about it, this is a really great spot for Kevin Love.
I'm really curious. What do you have his minutes projected at?
I have him at 28 right now.
You have him at 28. And what about fantasy points per minute? Because it's crazy
1.25.
Oh, okay. Well, that's where we're way different.
Yes.
Because I have him considerably higher than that. That would be where the difference is coming in. Because I was just trying to figure out what was making this so much different. That tells me right there. By the way, good call. Alfonso McKinney is starting at the 3 for Kevin Durant, not Raul Neto.
Mm-hmm.
So, Yeah, but I mean, Kevin Love, really every year on a per minute basis, last year was 1.2, 1.2 the year before that. This year it's been insanely good, especially on DraftKings where you get that double bonus, but he's up around 1.4 on DraftKings this year. Like, last year on DraftKings he was 1.28. The year before that he was 1.26. So I have him around 1.38 for tonight.
He's been 1.40 on FanDuel over the last 30 days.
Yeah. Well, and another thing too is there's no LeBron James.
There is no LeBron James. Much to Cleveland's chagrin.
Right. and I know someone may be like, of course there's no LeBron James, you idiot. Well, Love's only played like 9 or 10 games this year. By the way,
Jeff Teague
Jeff Teague's expected to play. He's only played like 9 games or whatever this year. So it does make a difference. And that's why those numbers are important. So I do have Kevin Love for around 1.4 at 29 minutes, which means obviously, as you know, that's going to have him show up in a lot of my lineups.
Yeah, if I had him at 1.4, he'd be really, really high up there. And mostly for me, I just don't see him sustaining that sort of level across bigger minutes. He's put up that really nice, efficient 1.4 number in smaller chunks of time. And we saw this a little bit with Boogie when he was working his way back. You can kind of go a little bit harder when you know you don't have to have 34 minutes in the tank. So I think that number might come down a little bit while also giving him some additional minutes. I'm just not comfortable going any higher than 28 because I don't really know if they're ever going to let him loose.
Fair enough. I have him. Do I think you might see a little regression? Sure, it's possible. But he's playing on a team where your starting lineup is like Cedi Osman and Sexton. Sexton really still doesn't have that high of a usage rate. No. Like he's not taking everything away from everybody else. The starting lineup does not have a lot. And you're getting Kevin Love at the center position. Tristan Thompson's still out. Be interesting to see what they do when both of them are healthy. But you got him starting at the center spot, which makes him more appealing to me. All of that comes into play. When you've got Brandon Knight, Cedi Osman, Colin Sexton, they started Jordan Clarkson. Or no, they didn't. It was Love, Sexton, Osman, Knight, and Zizic. Was it Zizic? So Love was at the 4, right? Yeah. I messed that up. Yeah, Love was at the 4. But he's still going to get some run at the 5, and I still have quite a bit of interest in him. But I guess we can move on. Anything else for Cleveland that you like? I know there is.
I'll have a small amount of Cedi.
Like small right amount now?
Well, it depends. It's small relative to other big numbers.
Okay. What did he?
Right now, it's 17%.
Okay.
I assume that goes down a little bit.
That sounds reasonable enough. I'm all right with that. Makes sense. And wait, hold on. You're talking FanDuel?
DraftKings.
On DraftKings. All right. What about on FanDuel?
On FanDuel, the only thing that I'm playing is the $100 single entry contest. So I assume I won't have him.
So you don't have 100%?
I do not have 100% on FanDuel tonight, no.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Yeah, well, I guess we'll have to see. But I do think Cedi is fine. He's also somebody that drives me nuts because I always seem to get horrible Cedi games. Same with Karis LeVert. That never seems to end well for me whatsoever.
Oh, that guy.
Yep. On the bobblehead night. What are you going to do? Let's move on. Miami. And by the way, the guards for that Cleveland team, especially with things beginning to open up now, unless you're just trying to go like super contrarian off the reservation, there probably isn't much point in getting there. Houston and Miami, Josh. I don't know where you're at on this, but we're about to find out. The Rockets are 9.5-point home favorites with a 220 total. Do you find yourself getting heavy on anyone outside of? I do have quite a bit of Clint Capella, but how much Harden now that we get this Paul George news?
Almost none. He came up in. I have 3% Harden right now. I've got some Capella, some PJ Tucker. That's basically it. No Chris Paul, no James Harden. Essentially.
How much Capella?
13.
Okay. Yeah, it appears I have more Capella as well. He did play 41 minutes last night, which I'm not huge on.
No.
But 6,700 there, it's quite nice. And I think you can get away with $6,700 price tag, even if you were to get 32 minutes from Capella. No Whiteside. Bam's a fine defender, but he's not imposing enough to really, scare you away. So I do have a decent amount of Capella.
Do you think he gets monster minutes again?
What'd you say?
Do you think he gets, I gave him 34 for tonight.
I think 34 is very reasonable. And Kenneth Faried, last I saw, is doubtful, right?
Correct. And I think Shump is out. I gave Terrence Jones 10 minutes.
Shump, who?
Terrence Jones.
Dude, how great would that be? But I have Capella at 35 minutes.
Yeah.
That worries me a little bit. I think I might bring him down to 34, only because that just seems a little bit more feasible on the back-to-back.
Yeah. I'm nervous of the back-to-back for him. If this were just like a normal back-to-back and he played 40, I probably wouldn't care all that much.
Right.
But since he was out for so long, I'm not really comfortable. But it's not like D'Antoni gives a shit about the health of his players. He'll run.
Anything else for Houston? Yeah, exactly. Anything else for Houston?
No.
All right. I did get 20% Harden, which is kind of interesting. In an odd way, I'm okay with that. Oh, you know why I got 20% Harden? Because I capped Westbrook at 60 and I capped everyone at 60. That's why.
Yeah, I got.
There's no doubt.
I got more than that of Westbrook at this point.
Yeah, like if I were to uncap Westbrook, I know I will get every lineup with Russell Westbrook. Like it's not even a question.
Yeah.
But I have to ask you this.
Hit me.
Is there even any point in, because remember people be like, dude, you could fit when Paul was down. Fade Harden because if he gets hurt or if he gets into foul trouble or this, that, like if that's your reason, that's not a good reason. But do you see any reason to go Harden over Westbrook in some lineups just because Westbrook is clearly going to be the one that oh my God.
Who is it? Hold on, let me look.
No.
What?
Coach Kerr says every player on the Warriors active roster will likely see minutes Thursday. So, Josh, we have Bell, Cook, Cousins, Curry, Marcus Derrickson. I'm assuming he's still up.
Sounds like a porn star.
Jacob Evans, Draymond Green, Jonas Jerebko, Damian Jones, Damian Lee, Sean Livingston, Kevon Looney, Alfonso McKinney, Klay Thompson. Is that right? Is that right? I'm looking at the active roster. If that's right, then, well, that's not good. We have to go back to those.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't know what do you say? Don't play anybody?
Well, I don't know, but that's a lot of bodies.
I mean, there's nothing to really go back to.
Oh wait, by the way, Damian Jones is out.
Oh,
he's on the roster, but he's hurt, so he's out. Jerebko is active, so that's the only guy here that's hurt. I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you in this spot. Like I'd be lying if I said it didn't make me like them a little bit less, because even if you just took 3 minutes off the top of every starter, that's, still 3 minutes that could have been necessary, 3 or 4 minutes that could have been used.
Well, when I was fading Curry before, I had nerves. Now I'm just irritated about it.
Mm-hmm.
Although,
What about
he
Cousins?
can do anything he needs to in 3 quarters, so it's not like it matters.
Yeah. Well, you guys have that news. That's just something you're going to have to do go with your gut, or do what you feel it makes the most sense, because nobody knows.
We all know the same thing you guys do.
Right. Miami, Bam Adebayo, anyone else?
Kelly Olynyk.
How much Olynyk, or how much do you like him?
A lot. Double the field right now. We haven't projected it for 18% on DraftKings. I have 37.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Bam, I'll have in 95 to 100.
Yeah, makes sense to me. I mean,
I said it yesterday on DK Live. Bam's the best play on the slate.
He is. He is. By the way, somebody just said in chat, that just means that Dickerson and Evans get some. Well, not necessarily, because you got guys that sparingly get minutes from game to game.
I mean, they played almost everybody yesterday. They played 12 dudes.
Right. So they played 12, but the concern is that that's not what Kerr does every night. So if everyone's playing tonight, that means that there will be just 1, 2.
They do this a lot. They played 13 guys on February 6th. They played 13 guys on February 2nd. This just happens. Kerr will play every single dude, basically. I don't think that we need to read into that.
All right. That's 13 players.
I mean, we might need to read into it in that, like, yeah, maybe the starters play 2 or 3 less minutes across the board. That's not what that tweet says, but, like, that's what we're implying, I guess, based on reading it. But if we take that at face value, that, like, everybody might see the game, that's not really any different than any other Warriors game.
So here's all I'm saying, though, is that if everyone's going to say it's even 2 or 3 guys that weren't before, then it either means just one of two things. One, the other bench players just see a few less minutes. And Rabat, yeah, I know what you mean.
I mean,
you're right.
Don't forget, we're also redistributing 65 minutes or something to all of the dudes that could potentially not be playing. So
yeah, no, that's
what you do about nothing.
That, you know what? You're right. You're spot on with that. You're right. It's just all of those guys are going to take Durant and Iguodala's minutes. That's all. You're right. 100%. I get a little nervous when I see that, but that's why
it's a trippy tweet.
That's why we break it down. And you're absolutely right. They're just gonna soak up those minutes. Yeah. Yep, no question. And that's about, I don't know, 35, 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Around, yeah. All right, that makes more sense. Outside of Olynyk and Bam, I'm not. Someone had a question about Dragic. I have no interest in Dragic. He only played 20 minutes yesterday after playing 23 to get. There's no point of trying to get. There's no meat on that bone when it's $4,400 and you're hoping for 20 or 22 minutes.
Yeah, I have no interest whatsoever. FanDuel, I guess. I wouldn't touch him at all on DraftKings.
Anybody else here?
No, I mean, like, Josh Richardson is always fine because his minutes aren't really going anywhere. Similarly, I think you can make a case for Justice Winslow. They're just not guys that I'm going to.
All right. Let's move it on then. OKC and Philly. Here's a fun one, man.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you hear us referencing the ownership projections and the NBA projections and everything else, Fantasy Cruncher, which we have the ad on at awesemo.com, you could check all of that out. You get you could do if you wanted a weekly spot, you could also do that. But if you hold on.
Oh no.
Damian Lee was active. It's not a big deal. I just wanted to make sure of this. Who's the one that was out?
Last spot will either be Derrickson or Evans.
Right. Okay. There's 2 Damians. It's Damian Jones that was out. All right. False alarm. Anyway, now I forget. What was I talking about, Josh? Oh, I was talking about awesemo.com.
Oh, yeah, that works too.
You can get half off, 50% off your first month at awesemo.com by simply using the promo code Deeper Dive. It is one word, Deeper Dive. Type that in, the coupon code, when you click Join Now on the homepage. You select your plan. Next page will prompt you to enter a coupon code. You'll say, yes, sir, I have one. It's Deeper Dive, one word. You check out, and you can get access to everything. Ownership projections for basketball, hockey, PGA, NASCAR, baseball coming up. All of our articles that we put hours into each and every day. The lineup builder, rankings, and other content from Alex Baker, Awesemo himself. Fantasy Cruncher add-on, Slack, which is a great thing to have for subscribers that love talking about this as much as we do every single day. And of course, our betting, our sports betting content. We've got it all. Awesemo.com. Use the code Deeper Dive, one word, as always, and get 50% off your first month. Plenty of other plans as well. So check it out. Even if you're not looking to do a monthly upfront, you can test those waters, and we hope to see you there.
Oh, yeah.
All right. OKC, Philly. OKC was 7.5, 8-point favorite earlier. They're 4-point favorites at home. 238.5 total, easily the highest on the slate, Josh. And since the Thunder have come into existence, since their inception, the Sixers have never once won in Oklahoma City.
Really?
They have beat the Oklahoma City Thunder one time in the team since the team's inception, in their existence. They have won one game, none of them in OKC.
So they're due?
I don't play by that rule, but
neither do I.
But I can tell you this much. It has no bearing on anything. I just think it's a pretty wild stat.
It is kind of crazy.
I mean, they only play at OKC once a year, but still.
Yeah, that's true. A good point.
So talk to me about Russell Westbrook. This fella's okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be, I don't know, my second most owned guy on DraftKings, I would imagine. Or, maybe third. Let me see. Yeah, he's third. Bam, Schroeder, who I guess we'll get to, and then Russ. I'm just unloading there. And on FanDuel, again, still a no-brainer for me.
Okay.
I don't know what else to say. Like, it's just, Paul George isn't there. You guys know what Russell Westbrook tends to do when there's no other talent around him. He just goes bonkers.
Yep. I would have loved for Embiid to be healthy because, look, I'm not a narrative guy, but if I believe that it makes sense, I'll buy into it. And when it's Russell Westbrook, before the All-Star game, Embiid's like, oh, I don't hold grudges, man. We should be all right. Whatever. We're all here to have fun. Russell Westbrook said when they asked him a question, he's like, next question. Wouldn't even answer it. So he's still got some fire in his belly when it comes to Joel Embiid. There's no question there. But in that same breath, Josh, not having Embiid guarding the rim is also pretty nice. Yeah. So I'm not necessarily opposed to that whatsoever. Not having Boban's big ass in there either is pretty nice. You're talking about a super undersized front court that Russell Westbrook should be able to decimate in the paint on drives to the rim. He has a 35% usage rate this year with George off the court, a 48% assist rate, a 16% rebounding rate. 16%. That's better than almost every center in the game. There's maybe 7 centers with a better overall rebounding rate. And 1.64 fantasy points per minute. Keep in mind also that Russell Westbrook could see more minutes in this game as well. There's just nothing not to like about him here, Josh, and I think that's as simple as it goes. But let's evaluate the rest of this team without Paul George. Dennis Schroeder should see some extra minutes. Yeah. Do you think Ferguson starts at the 3 and Schroeder at the 2?
I'll be honest. I haven't given it much thought. Oklahoma City is a team where I just sort of treat it more like, what am I going to see from totals? Because they Felton, Diallo, Nader, Markieff, Noel, even Ferguson to an extent. They have so many dudes that I just don't even think about looking at, that I just sort of think, okay, do I want Russ, Schroeder, Adams, Grant?
Given the size of this Sixers team, they're not big in the front court, but they're also not small at the wing positions and at guard. I mean, if Marcus Morris started at the 3 and Ferguson stayed at the 2, it would not be the craziest thing ever.
No, I gave Markieff Morris and Jeremy Grant more than 48 minutes today because I thought that could be a possibility. So, yeah, great minds.
Yeah. Hey, Markieff Morris should definitely not be at small forward in this day's basketball, but you never know.
He's
you never know.
Essentially a stretch 5 now.
Right, exactly. So we'll wait and see what we get. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Schroeder and Ferguson at the 2 and the 3, or Ferguson, Morris, who knows?
I'm playing a
Jer
ton of Schroeder, just FYI.
Are you?
Yeah.
Jeremy Grant's not big either.
No.
So there's a lot of things they can do. How many minutes do you have Markieff Morris at?
19, I think.
I have him at 16.
Yeah.
I feel like I should maybe bump that up, but I have Schroeder at 32 minutes. That's scary.
Oh, dude, I have him at 28, and he is still like the third best play I can find because his rates are just phenomenal with Paul George off the floor. Oh shit, did I lose you? Is it me? No, I think it's you. Lofty, are you there? Am I carrying the deep dive? Now you're just gone. What up? It's the deeper dive with just me. Oh, you're back?
Wait, that was me that dropped?
I think so.
You just left I was still in the meeting and it said Josh has left.
Same thing happened to me for you, but we never lost the stream, so it's got to be you.
Okay, good. I just refreshed it and I was talking. I said, I don't know if it was me or him, but I'm going to refresh just in case.
I was doing the same thing.
All right, so before we go to Philly, I don't know if you did, but just lay it out for OKC outside of Westbrook, because I like him, Schroeder, and I also like Steven Adams. I think Steven Adams definitely gains, even if it's just on a rebounding standpoint and a little bit more opportunity with the basketball or with scoring opportunities. I'm okay with him as well.
We are so far behind right now. It's ridiculous. Love Schroeder, love Westbrook. They're going to be in the large majority of all of my lineups. I will be more than double the field on Steven Adams, and I'll have some Jeremy Grant.
All right. And then with Philly, this is a team where there's just not a lot of use in spending a lot of time on them.
No.
Mike Scott should get around 30 minutes, perfectly fine punt.
Yep.
With Boban and Embiid out. Aside from that, like, I like Ben Simmons quite a bit. And I like Butler and Harris. I'd put Butler over Harris on DraftKings, Harris over Butler on FanDuel. Really just the same concept as we've been talking about every day. A 240 almost total, lots of points. And then Paul George off the court means this game should stay closer. I have no problem cycling through these three Sixers guys.
Neither do I. On DK, for me, it goes Butler, Simmons, Harris. On FanDuel, it's Simmons, Butler, Harris. I'm going to have them both.
All right.
All three, rather.
Well, you said, and I don't have much interest in Redick in case anyone's going to ask. You said we were so far behind, but we're not that far behind. Here's why. We get to this last game between Denver and Utah. The Nuggets are 7-point favorites with a 225 total. I like Jokic. Outside of that on Denver, I'm just not interested, and I don't think I need to get to much of them.
I agree. It'd be Jamal Murray, if anything.
Right. Like, there's really nothing else there, especially now that guys are getting healthy. So really don't need to talk about them much. If you have questions, hit us up on Twitter or in Slack if you're a sub. Happy to mention them after. And, of course, you have Live Before Lock coming up after this. And with Utah, I guess we assume that O'Neal is going to start. Mitchell, someone said no. No, I'd mentioned I'd not.
I know who's not starting.
Yeah, well, Neto, you dodged the bullet on that one, pal. And let's just have you close it out. We've got Mitchell and
no, you close it out, man. I'm going to be on again for another hour. Take it.
All right, I'll close it out.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell's an interesting one because usually with Rubio out, he's somebody that pops like big time. But with Westbrook, and then you have Schroeder, who has shooting guard eligibility, that's really interesting. And then you also have Butler, who's really cheap. Klay Thompson without KD is another one. You don't have to talk long about it because I know we got to get out of here. But are you landing on that much Donovan Mitchell without Rubio?
Not really. I have 13%.
Okay. Yeah, I have 8.
Some. I wouldn't want to ignore him, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I'll probably try and get that a little bit higher, but shooting guard now has a lot of mid-range options that are in good spots. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But no issues with Mitchell. Having Rubio off the court definitely helps. He's not super cheap though. He's not. He's a fine play. Just not one of my top plays, as I would have expected any other day Rubio would be out. And then Gobert. Look, 1.33 fantasy points per minute with Rubio off the court. It's just impossible for me to end up with a lot of him, given how many really good plays are at center, Josh.
Yeah, I don't really have much out of the Utah side. A little bit of Ingles, a little bit of Mitchell, and I'm good.
What
This
about
game-
Favors? You were talking about him earlier today.
I'm miles under the field.
Yeah, I got 2% Derek Favors now. A lot has changed since this morning, and that's what it comes down to, you know?
That is very, very true.
It absolutely is. All right, anything else from this game? Don't want to gloss over it, but
No.
I also don't want to spend a bunch of time on a game that we're not getting a lot from.
I'll barely have it.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, that'll do it for us. Thanks for tuning in, as always. Hit us with a thumbs up, like the video if you appreciate the content. It's greatly appreciated, and we love you guys and girls, of course. Have a good night. Good luck tonight. We wish you the best of luck, of course, and we'll see you back here tomorrow to close out. Oh, no, wait. Is today Wednesday or
Nope,
Thursday?
Thursday.
It's Thursday. We'll close out the week tomorrow. Live Before Lock coming up next. Josh moving into the 3-hole to close out our content for Thursday night. Good luck tonight.
See you soon.